Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's The Career Thrivers Show. I'm Rhonda Douglas Charles, the immigrant career strategist. My vision is a world where first and second generation immigrants are not condemned or are not relegated to survival jobs and are able to thrive in professional roles and entrepreneurship. For the past 2 decades, my mission has been to equip you with the tools to get started and thrive in your chosen role. Today, we dive into understanding the cultural barriers in job search, especially for first and second generation immigrants. So let's get into it. Thank you to those joining me on the replay, and thank you to everyone who have tuned in today on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let's get started. So first, let's take a look at what this barrier is and understanding the barrier. Moving to a new country often means navigating its unique job market dynamics. One of the main challenges many immigrants face is reconciling the differences between their own cultural norms and American work related cultural values. Recognizing these barriers is often the first step to overcoming them. Today, we will look at self promotion, directness in communication, self disclosure. So let's get into decoding these cultural barriers. And we'll go over them one by one. So today we're going to begin with self promotion, because that's an area where most of us, okay, let's talk about me. It's an area where I, as an immigrant, I am not really comfortable with self promotion. One of my coaches would say the back of the bleachers is where I would prefer to be. And indeed, as a resume writer, you're really a ghostwriter. So self-promotion, it's not what I'm comfortable with. Self-promotion is what a lot of us are not comfortable with. But American culture promotes assertiveness, especially in the job market. In many cultures, self-promotion comes across as boastful. So how do you toe the line? The US employer expectations is that you are confident and you discuss your accomplishments and you always follow up. The conflicting cultural value is that self praise can be seen as too individualistic or even rude. In Trinidad, there's a saying self praise is no praise, right? So when talking about your achievements, you want to frame them in terms of team efforts and tangible benefits. I like to say rather than self promotion, you're giving information. So rather than promoting myself, I'm informing you as to how I am able to come in and the value that I can bring to you and the benefit of working with me. The second thing we want to think about is directness in communication. Direct communication is key in American businesses. A firm handshake and eye contact go a very long way. So the US expectation here is open responses, maintaining eye contact, and appropriate body language, meaning you're not closed off, you're more open and you're definitely maintaining that eye contact. Your handshakes are firm. But the reality is that direct eye contact can seem to be disrespectful for some cultures. And some cultures just totally avoid criticism. The least, everything that you can do to avoid criticism, that is what you're going to do. So if this is challenging, you want to practice, 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 practice. Role play with friends, with mentors, or even in the mirror. Maintaining that eye contact in the mirror is an excellent exercise to speak to yourself, looking in that mirror directly. The third thing we want to cover today is self-disclosure. I know, personal questions can catch you off guard, but they're common in American interviews. There's a question that I often ask when I'm doing mock interviews, which is there anything that's not on your resume that you would like me to tell you, that you would like to tell me about? And really, that's an invitation for you to build a connection with the employer. But for many, and I to bring in another Caribbean face here, I don't want anybody in my business, right? I have no interest in giving you any personal information. But the reality is, the US expectation is to share your experiences, your strengths, as well as your weaknesses. The conflict in value is that some people view these personal questions as invasive. So, my tip here is to reflect beforehand on what you're comfortable sharing. You get to decide what it is that you want to share. And remember, whatever you share has to be in alignment with the role that you're seeking, with the job that you're interviewing for. And now let's talk about career self awareness. In America, you're expected to chart your career path. You're expected to know yourself, know your goals, and how they fit in with the job. Some cultures have preset roles and responsibilities. My tip here is for you to conduct informational interviews to really get an understanding of your industry and the company, and to show that you have done your homework. So this is where in those networking situations, because in this month in October, we're talking about networking, all of those job fairs that have opened up, all of those in-person networking opportunities that we have, right? So in those conversations, this is where you can have your informal informational interviews and get a full understanding of your industry, get an understanding of what employers are looking for, get an understanding of what you can provide. And, this is where your research will come into play. So you want to definitely be a bit open to the idea that your job search is really your responsibility. And it's your responsibility to know your industry. It's your responsibility to know your role rather than having the employer tell you exactly every single step that you need to know. Now, yes, there is always going to be some level of training in your jobs, but employers are expecting you to come in with a certain level of understanding of your industry and definitely an understanding of your role. Language barriers. Now, this is a topic that has come up with my clients recently. English proficiency is vital. If it's not your strong suit, that's okay, but you want to dedicate time to practice. And my tip here is to engage with English speaking friends. Use learning tapes, enroll in classes, find a tutor. Remember, practice makes perfect. And your public libraries are an excellent resource for practicing and learning English. In New York City, you have the New York Public Library, the Brooklyn Public Library, and the Queens Library System. Use your library. There are resources for you, especially when it comes to practicing your English. Your English proficiency is vital. So, finally, I want to discuss something, and that's stereotypes. Stereotypes go two ways. Immigrants have stereotypes as well as locals have stereotypes. It is a two-way street, and you have to recognize biases on both sides in order to navigate them. Understand what potential stereotypes employers might have about you, but also understand the stereotypes that you may have about employers. My tip here is to always emphasize your unique strengths and the unique perspective of your international background, because you really do bring a unique perspective and it is one which is valued. But if you do not speak up about it, and if you don't bring it into the conversation, not in a confrontational manner, but one in which it lends value and you add to the conversation, you will find that emphasizing your unique strengths and your unique perspective, it is going to be welcomed. So Here are my closing thoughts for today. You want to remember that while these cultural nuances can pose challenges, they also represent your unique story. It's a journey of adapting while retaining the essence of who you are. I want to extend my encouragement to every immigrant tuning in. You bring a world of experience, resilience, and diversity. And so, for everyone looking to strengthen their LinkedIn presence, I do have a special treat for you. You want to grab the exclusive LinkedIn profile checklist. It is tailored to help you make your profile stand out. So, just click the link in bio to download it. And with regard to our conversation today, keep in mind that when it comes to the employer expectations, one of the things that your LinkedIn profile does is that it's speaking for you 24/7. And yes, everything about us speaks, and our LinkedIn profile is always speaking for us. So this is something that you want to have on point, right? So just click the link in bio and you can download it and get your profile checklist and start making those changes that will definitely make a difference in your profile. So, if you need personal guidance or resume assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Let's work collaboratively and supportively to unlock your potential. Stay motivated. Until next time, take care. Thanks for joining.